What's good, everybody? So, I've had a few interesting learnings. Have you ever, before we really get into this, ever had a zit on your nose? So, like, where I'm pointing to, if you're listening to this, is like the very bottom part of my nose that meets right up with like the top of my lip on like the left hand or right hand side, but mine is on my left hand side. Either way, it's been driving me crazy. It feels like there's something stuck there, and it's nothing. It's just beginning to get calloused up because I keep messing with it and keep disturbing it, at least to say. Either way, like, this week has been incredible. Some of the biggest takeaways and feedback are the ink blot. So the ink blot meaning, if I trigger you in any sort of way when you listen to this, when you watch this, when you view this on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever you may see it, if that triggers you in any sort of way, in either a positive or a not positive perspective, there is essentially an emotion behind that specific feeling. Meaning, it could be judgment, it could be love, it could be peace, it could be joy. It could be any of the emotions that range throughout our existence, our consciousness, our right to understand and know, different types of labels to describe the levels of energy, maps of consciousness that I'm speaking of. And very much so, I have to tell you this very funny story. And it's the idea of understanding more so of how the present moment works. Last week, it was a very, very interesting week, especially in the sales game. And this week, I have never, ever heard of this. You guys are going to laugh at this because I think the emotion that I had that arose was laughter, in more of a envy, hateful, not positive perspective towards myself. And here is how I understand the importance of surrender. So I got a referral sent to me from an individual that just signed up. It was his first week. We got him a couple in-person appointments. He's going to work on closing them. He had one more as of today, and he started on Monday. So a very strong turnaround time. And at the same time, another flaw is like, there's something going on with this other client because he's been going for 2 weeks now, and he's seen one very small job. And I just messaged him today, and I said, hey, man, I'm going to give you a call tomorrow. And when I give you a call tomorrow, I want to refund you because this is extremely strange. Never, ever have I ever experienced more so than, 2 weeks to get back-to-back leads, appointments, things that are going to progress this business along when working with me. So for me, it's just an understanding of acceptance. And I think that applies in other areas because going back to the very first guy that I mentioned, and I only have 9 battery on my phone while I record this, so I have to make it quick, is, again, you cannot make this up. This is exactly why I thought it was so funny, because what are the odds? For me, I think this is about a 1 in 1,000, 1 in 1 million of odds. So this referral sends me a friend, and I message this friend of the referral, and I tell him, hey, I got your number from this guy. He knows you. He says you may be looking for, what we had him sign up for a couple days ago. Let me know when you're available. He says, yeah, next week sometime. So today on Thursday, and I think this is very important to seize the present moment. And over the weekend, this referral that got sent to me, he got called by another company with this sales rep name being Justin. And of course, this referral thinks that his friend sent this other Justin his number. So he signs up, he pays, he jumps into what they do to help him with what I was supposed to help him with. And so today, I just find out about it. And I call him, I said, hey man, sounds like, you're looking to jump in with us and get things rolling, to say the least. And he says, I already paid you. And I'm like, you already paid us? Well, let me double check on my end here. Yet I do not see a payment from you, nor have I spoken to you about a payment. So I'm not exactly sure of what you mean. He says, well, I just signed up. I just sent you the money. You guys are going to be doing X, Y, and Z for me. And I question him and I say, are you sure you signed up with the right company? He says, your name's Justin, right? I said, yes. He said, well, yeah, I just paid you over the weekend. And that's when I started laughing. And more so understood, if I was getting this correctly, that there is another Justin out there that does exactly what I do, and he happened to call this referral exactly at the right specific time that he was supposed to sign up with me and begin working, doing very similar services together just a couple days ago. And the guy says, yeah, I think so. His name was Justin. I paid him. I just spoke to him today. And I'm like, what? Again, still laughing to myself and understanding that really nothing I can do. I said, okay, well, best of luck. I wish we were working together, obviously. And hopefully we can be in touch in the future. He says, yes, have a good day. And as I sit there and I wonder and I look more so inside, I'm going through the book again called Letting Go. And I listened to it on Audible. I got to send it to more people. It's a fantastic book. And it talks about how there will be times where it just seems like everything is going fantastically great. And before you know, you forget about the tools that help got you there, such as letting go, the suppression of the feelings, whether it be positive, not positive, prideful, anger, any of that stuff along the way. And as I laugh to myself, I ask myself, what is the purpose of this? Because if you can continue to ask yourself, what is the purpose of it? It will continue to give you answers. And as you can continue to get answers, what you're essentially looking for in the surrender of that moment is wholeness, is alignment, is oneness, is equal sign. Whatever, again, label you prefer to put on it. And before you know it, when you continue to ask yourself, well, what is the purpose of this laughter of this specific moment? And it's envy, anger, judgment, all cast on myself, upon myself. And I thought, I thought I let all of this go, which I've had a great experience. I've had some of the best weeks leading up to this very specific present moment where I speak to you on this camera. And I understand after re-listening to it is unconsciously you let go of those tools that allow you to understand the surrender to the present moment. And as you can allow those things that are prideful, envious, anger, hurt, and observe them almost as if they are just a box. So think of the emotion pride, because that is kind of the section that I just left off on when listening to this book, is that it can be a box that is around you. Imagine yourself in a box, and in that box is the emotion of pride. And that is floating around in the unconscious. And as you observe it, you have to allow yourself to step out of the box to be able to observe inside of the box. Meaning, You always have to be in multiple spots to observe that specific spot of consciousness, such as observing the box of you being in it, that is pride. Now, again, this is a lot deeper than what we may have gone, yet I do fully understand that you may believe and know to now fully agree with or disagree with, whatever you prefer on this concept, such as you being able to understand that if you are to observe yourself in a box that has a label or emotion around it, you have to be outside of the box to observe it. So, with that being said, I had and am currently observing it. Because with the present moment, as you can stack possibilities, only possibilities, nothing's for sure, not even the sentence, nothing is for sure. Now understand that's a box in itself. Yet what one is after is the truth of boxes that allows them to live their life truthfully. All who are simple, turn your ways in here. Proverbs 9, that entire paragraph, go and read it if you haven't. Proverbs 9, it talks about those who are simple, turn your ways. Remove your ways from foolishness. And as you remove those ways of foolishness, turn into the ways that are simple. Now, with all of this being said, it is just a good mirror peer reflection in if one thinks of the ink blot. I wish I had the Bible verse, yet it's in the very first chapter of John. It said, he was in the world, and he was of the world, yet he was not from the world. Something along those lines. Now, it may be a little off, yet go and read it. It's in the first chapter, probably 5 to 10 verses in of the Gospel of John. And understand that the way I interpret it is he was of the world, yet he was not in the world. Yet the people were of the world, and they did not essentially know him. Another way to look at it as an ink blot, meaning those things that trigger you are mirrors, reflections, impersonations, boxes of who you are internally that may be unconscious to you. And they can be love, they can be positive emotions. So allow yourself to take in the gratitude of those positives and continue to stack the possibilities. Because think of the possibilities of understanding that you can stack possibilities of, say, you getting paid. Yet, if you are not specific enough, it may be a different Justin that is getting paid. Now, I'm not saying this is right. I'm not saying this is wrong. I'm not saying this is fact or crap. This is an observation of a lens that one may be able to look upon and perceive on to stack and know their possibilities of the truth that may be out there for them. Now, another way would be to interpret it as is, imagine if no one outside of you was real. Now, again, take these things, all of them with a grain of salt. They're just a lens. They're not reality. People are loving. You can touch them. You can smell them. You can taste them if you wanted to lick them or kiss them, whatever it may be. In terms of using your conscious faculties, that's the whole purpose of this, to understand that that is a real human being. Now, again, if you just allow the idea of the lens being there, just a mirror, an ink blot, something along those lines may help you understand more about yourself.